Hi, I'm Sandra. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm sharing some fall songs and poems that you can use to help children develop their physical, their musical, their literacy, and their creativity skills. Let's get started. What's the sound I hear? Oh, that's you clicking the subscribe button. I hope you will take a second and subscribe to the Sing, Play, Create Teaching Tips channel. The ideas in the video are easily applied to any fall song, or actually any song that you might know. So I hope you keep watching to get these ideas so you can use them in your classroom today. Using thematic songs and poems are a great way to help students increase learning, literacy, physical and musical and creative skills. Singing and moving together in the classroom helps students build their classroom community skills, their social emotional skills. It's going to help you with your classroom management because we're all going to sing and move together. So let's get started with some of these songs and poems that I've come up with for fall learning activities. Once you have gathered the children together, either on the carpet or in a circle, you can use these songs as a free movement activity. Now, of course, we want to provide some structure to our little friends who don't know really what personal space is yet. So we're going to say you can move as long as you stay in your square or in your bubble space or on your dot. So whatever will work in your space, be sure to remind the children that they can move and stay within their space. This keeps it safe for everybody. We're going to choose a musical selection that they can freely move to, and there might be a lot of them that don't know what to do, and that's okay. We're just opening the door to movement for these children. I'm going to use a short poem that I wrote called Toss the Leaves. Now, this is also a song, and I have a complete music activity that goes with this. But for this video, we're just going to use the poem. And the poem is in the literacy packet for September that you can get in the TPT or on the Sing, Play, Create website. And it just is very simple and it's easy to do. Here's how the poem goes. Toss the leaves all around, swirling, whirling, twirling to the ground. Toss them high, toss them low, toss them up and down you go. Now, as the teacher, you might already be thinking about some ways you want the kids to move. But the point of this is just to have them hear the words and to be able to move to them. And we can also use these types of songs to teach children about rhyming. And that's one reason we use them as a literacy activity and also as a movement activity or musical activity. The first thing that we're going to want to do after we say the words and have them listen to the poem or the song is we're going to give them some ways to move. Let's talk fine motor skills. So what can we do with our hands in this poem that are going to increase or give an exercise to our little fingers? So using our hands, we can do some things like this. We can have them, instead of clapping loudly, have them use their fingers like falling leaves and just have them tap their fingers together as they say the words. So you would say a line, toss the leaves, and then they'll repeat it, toss the leaves. All around, all around. Swirling, whirling, twirling. You might want to break that up for the even younger children. Swirling, whirling, twirling to the ground, to the ground. All right, you get the idea. So we're going to use our fingers. You could do one finger each. Toss the leaves. Make sure to demonstrate clearly and make sure that the kids aren't worried about, oh no, I accidentally clapped. Don't worry about that. Just see if you can get those fingers moving. The second way you can do it is to get the whole body moving. So you might use big dramatic actions. Toss the leaves and have them copy your big movements. All around, and go really crazy with it. Take your time, have fun, and use your ideas to just experiment with the children. You don't have to practice and know it all ahead of time. Just do it as you feel it and get them moving. And when you're doing the movement, you want to try to get them to lift their legs and use either walking or moving or some kind of bending down, so they're using their whole bodies in these kind of activities. Like I said, you can use that technique or those techniques in any song or chant or poem that you're teaching your children. You always want to state it clearly all the way through so they can have a picture of how it goes together. Think about making a cake. If you see the cake, you know what you're going for. Or if you're playing a sports game and they say you have to score a point, well, what does that mean? Oh, I have to kick it through the goal post or kick it into the net to score a point, or I have to run around all the bases. So paint a picture of what the whole poem or song looks like first, either listening or you saying it or playing it yourself. The second thing then is to think about fine motor and gross motor movement. If you can incorporate both into it, that's going to help them. Their little fingers, eye movement, hand and eye coordination, all those great things that we want to be working on in our preschool and kindergarten ages. You can make it really fun. You could do stomping around the classroom or around their desk or around the square or around the circle. Toss the leaves all around and go really big. And then you could do quiet with the fingers. Toss the leaves all around. I hope these ideas are helping you figure out how you're going to be able to teach a poem or song in your classroom. I found that the way we do the teaching of the words and have fun with the movement makes a big difference in the way the kids are going to accept and learn and the speed at which we learn things in our classroom. Let's talk about creating community or helping all the children learn how to work and play together in your classroom. So one thing you can do is do circle activities where they actually have to hold hands or following each other around the circle. Another fun song that I wrote is called It's Fall. You can find it on Spotify. It's also on my kids' music channel, and it is a free download. So there's lots of ways to use that song if you want to find it. I'm going to play you just a short section of the song so you can get an idea of how it goes. And it's playing in the background too, so you'll be able to hear it.
The fallen leaves are blowing off the trees, piling high right up to my knees. I break them up, but they make me sneeze. So now there's leaves all over me. It's fall, but time when everyone has a football. There's fun for all. Aren't you glad it's fall?
You are going to have the children, like I said, you might have them move freely. If you want to teach the words, you could do that next, or you could just have this be a community building. We've got to work on our social skills, SEL, together. So we're going to listen to the song with free movement or patting our knees, something simple to begin with. And then we're going to have all the children gather and hold their hands, or if you don't want to hold hands, stand in a circle. Now you can choose some different movements to help them so that everybody's doing the same thing. Maybe you don't want them to try and hold hands, or you don't even want them to move too far out of their spaces. That's okay. Let's think of some ways that you could do it and build community in a circle by just having them do some simple actions. So what if they just sway to the music? And let's get our hands going too. Remember to combine hands and legs. So we're going to wiggle our fingers like leaves, and the falling leaves are blowing up the trees. And we're just going to sway to the music. And I always tell the kids, okay, I'm looking for the happiest tree, like they're the tree and these are the leaves. And you can walk around and have them sway and give them opportunities to be silly. Next, you could choose one student to be the tree teacher or the big tree or the tree of the day, whatever word you want to choose. So then you could choose one child to stand in the middle And now we can play a very easy circle game with this song. So we're going to stand like trees, put our roots to the ground. We're going to spread our arms like branches, and we're going to be the leaves. And when the music stops, we're going to try and copy the kid in the middle of the circle. Now, if the student or child is very shy and they don't want to move, then just say, okay, everybody just help our friend and let's show them some ideas. And then give them some ideas on moving. And we're just going to move to the music. And then when you stop the music, all the trees freeze. And give everybody time to look around at what their friends are doing. That's how we're building community. We're giving them a chance to do something together, but also share by visually seeing what their buddies are doing. And you can just play. And when you stop the music, you could say, okay, you go choose someone to the big tree in the middle. Go choose someone to take their spot, or teacher can choose. It just depends on the age and type of class you are working with. You have to make that decision. So it's a very simple game. It's kind of freeze dance, pointing, choosing type game. But those are the kind of games that will really help you in your classroom. And then you can refer back to the game. Remember when we took turns in our tree game? Remember when we all were leaves and trees and we were being silly? So try to think of a way you can incorporate it play it enough times, maybe every day for a week, or if you're like a music teacher, you want to play it every time they come for a month. So we get 4 or 5 times playing the tree game. I need to stop being a tree. Being a tree game, and then you can use that in your conversations with them when some issue arises. A really fun thing to do at the very end of the song. Let's say you've done 4 or 5 students and it's been, 6 to 8 minutes and we're done. So then you say, okay, this is the last time and we're all going to drop all our leaves to the floor. So when the music stops, I want you to drop all your leaves down to the ground. So then you're going to stop the music and they're all going to drop down to the ground. And then if you have time and you want to transition back to their desk or centers or something, you can say, oh, it's so cold. Winter has come and all the trees are sleeping now. And everybody can just take a little nap and rest for a second. I always ask them, breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. And take a nice little rest. And then you can have them tiptoe back to their spots, which is another gross and fine motor skill activity. You get them back to their desk and then you can move on with your activity. Now, if those are overwhelming you and you're like, I can't do a big activity, there's not enough time in my day, I've got some quick movement things that you can use immediately and quickly in your room and integrate them into your day pretty easily. Whenever you do a new song, any kind of poem or song, just have the children do the free movement. Read the poem, say, okay, you have 5 seconds to show me your favorite pose that this song makes you think of, or show me how leaves fall. That's okay. It's better to do that than do no movement at all. You could also, if they're repeating the poem or song or a chant, maybe it's even a math chant you're teaching them, or some kind of a phonics poem or a phonics chant that teaches them about the letter E, then in between the times you're doing it, or before you do it and at the end, include a movement. Okay, this is the last time we're going to sing our letter E song, so we're going to sing it while we march around the classroom. Or we're going to march back to our seats. Or we're going to do jumping jacks as we sing it. Or we're going to jump as we sing it. So just try to put in one simple movement with something you are already doing in your classroom that brings a movement component into your lessons. You're going to find this is going to help the children stay calmer. It's also going to keep them engaged, and they're going to want to do these things because they get to move. So we're talking about increasing musical and physical and creative and literacy skills. And one thing that I found is using classical music. Now, this is something any classroom can do. You can find a musical selection that goes with your fall theme. You can use any classical music, but I have one to recommend. It's Vivaldi's Fall Symphony No. 3, and I've put the link in the description. You can get that. And you can play this music and just have the children move to that music. It's a great transition. Like, let's say you are cleaning up and everyone's at a different time in the process of cleaning up. So the ones that are done come to the carpet and you have this classical music playing, and they know that if they stay in their square or they stay on their dot, they can move as freely as they want to, as long as they stay in their square, stay on their dot, stay in their space, and keep their hands to themselves. With that kind of activity, you don't want it to go on too long, 20 to 30 seconds, and then you may have to pause it, give some directions, count down so everybody is on the carpet. And then you could say a countdown 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and everybody's sitting down and you're ready to go into your next activity. Another way to use this music is by calling out directions of what you want the child to do. So this is pretend play. So what you're going to do is you're going to play the music softly, and when you stop it, you're going to give them something to do. So you play the music just for like 3 seconds to start, and then you're going to say, rake the leaves. They're all in the middle of our circle, or they're at your feet. Just decide where they are. We're going to rake the leaves that are in the middle of our circle. Everybody get out your rake. And then you put the music on. Rake, 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 rake to the music. And you only want to do that at the most 10, 15 seconds. This is very quick. You can have everyone fall down to the ground. You can have them lie on the ground like a leaf. You can have them fall down like an acorn. You could have them bounce like an acorn that fell from the tree. You can have them gather the pile of leaves. You can have them pick up the leaves and toss them. You can have them put the leaves into another container like a bucket or a barrel. You can have them twirl like a leaf. So you could just have a short list in your lesson plans, or me, I like things on the board, so I might make a slide of this that fits in with my day. Then I'll always have it every fall. And I would just have the pretend play fall activity. I would list those things, and then every time I stop the music, I'm going to call one of them out, and I'm going to give them anywhere between 10 and 20 seconds to do the activity. I do like to have a quiet down transition plan, so I might turn the music very softly and say, now it's time to tiptoe to the line because you're going somewhere, something like that. Now we're ready to use some musical lesson ideas that are going to help us have cross-curricular or multi-sensory experiences with one fall song. So now we're going to do the literacy activity that we talked about, learning the words. We're going to tap or clap the sounds of the words. We're going to do free movement. We're going to possibly do another movement activity with it. We're going to be repeating this poem or song throughout the fall season because repetition, repetition, repetition is what helps the children learn. And we're going to use a variety of ways through the repetitions so that they experience the song and learning the song in a lot of different ways. A musical way that you can use for all of these songs that I'm talking about is to do some instrument exploration. You can be the caller as the teacher and say, what does that sound like? The drum. What kind of fall sound does that make? It might be a squirrel climbing across the trees. Okay, and then the sand blocks or whatever you have that you can use. What kind of sound is that? And it could be the leaves or the wind. Adding in a musical connection actually helps you cross over and connect all these other ideas that we've been using. So it's really going to help a lot of your children when they can hear the different sounds of fall, and then they are doing it in a creative way, which is going to stimulate their creativity. And you'll find that they remember these activities. They remember the song. They remember the poems so much better. And they keep engaged because they're doing these simple musical activities. The second way you can do this activity is to have the instruments on the ground and allow the children to come up and shake and just do something with the instruments. And then you can talk about, what did this sound like? And then you can ask some questions. So next, you can take a poem and use the instruments when you are saying the poem. So if you're trying to do a music lesson, you're going to choose the instruments perhaps that represent one, the sound of the leaves, the sound of the wind, and maybe another sound of leaves, but it's when they're falling or twirling. So an escalated sound. So I would choose like a shaker just for the leaves to be falling down. And then for the escalated leaves falling, when they're twirling, whirling, maybe faster, or there's a whole bunch of them, you're going to use a rain stick or the sand blocks or something that has more different sound, a different timbre than just the shaker. And I'm choosing percussion sounds because I'm going to need more than one. So a slide whistle works great for the wind, but if you want more than one child to do it, you need to choose instruments where you have multiple instruments. So for the wind, I might choose the triangle. And then they can vary how fast they're doing it or how hard they're doing it and change that as they sing the song. The drum is the final when all the leaves fall, or if the song has a stomp on the leaves. It could be a loud sound that you want to save the drum for. So here's a little song I wrote. You can use it as a poem or song. It's sung to I'm a Little Teapot. And I'm just going to say it as a chant, and I'll show you which instrument. And each line of the song is going to have a different instrument. So divide the poem or the class into groups where one's playing the shaker, which is just the regular leaf sounds. You'll have the wind sounds. You'll have the leaves escalating, twirling, whirling type sound. And then you'll have the drum at the very end play. I'm a little leaf up in the tree. Watch me flutter in the breeze. Then we have the leaf and the wind together. This way, that way, up and down. Now I'm falling to the ground. At the end of the poem, you could have everyone just play their instruments and then stop, because they're in a pile now. I love using all of these ideas in my music activities, and I know that many preschool and kindergarten teachers use a lot of these types of ideas in their lessons, so they create a multi-sensory experience for their students. They reach everybody by trying to include the physical, the oral, the literacy, the reading, the hand-eye coordination, motor muscle development, fine and gross motor muscles, and it inspire and encourage creativity from their children. This is a fun way to do it in the fall themed activities. I hope that you will enjoy this video and that you got some ideas to help you in your classroom. Don't forget to drop a comment about which ones work for you or ideas you might have you'd like to share with our community. What's that sound? Oh, it's the click of the subscribe button. Don't forget to subscribe to the Sing, Play, Create Teaching Tips channel. Let's keep kids moving and learning with music.